Okay, so if we have a look at this question here, we have another 9-mark SUVAT question. Again, something that's very typical to come up. We have a lorry accelerates uniformly from 5 to 20 meters per second in 30 seconds. Find how far it travels whilst accelerating. So realistically, again, we probably don't need a diagram for this one, but I always draw diagrams just as a good habit. So let's quickly discuss all the different ways that I'm going to help you in your GCSE or A-level maths careers. First of all, I wanted to talk to you about the YouTube members. This is a really cost-effective way of getting tutoring. So I'm going to do weekly live streams for GCSE and A-level maths, and that all comes for £18 a month, and you get at minimum an hour of tutoring per week in these live streams. At the moment, they're quite small, so you basically get tuition for about £4.50 an hour, which is really, really cheap. The second thing is the Patreon. For those of you doing A-level maths, I have already completed AS Stats on my Patreon. It is a full course with worksheets, mark schemes, videos. I answer all the questions. We're going to do exam papers and everything that needs doing. We're halfway through mechanics as of yet. And lastly, there's tuition. I still have places in my group classes for A-level maths and GCSE maths. For GCSE, it's £30 an hour, and for A-level, it's £40 per hour. So if you want to let me know if you're interested, just email me or join the Discord, where I'm very, very active all the time. Anyways, back to the video. So I'm going to represent the lorry as just a little box, and it goes from 5 meters per second, and it goes to 20 meters per second, and we want the actual distance that it travels in that time, and that time is 30 seconds. So again, we can write out our SUVAT equation. So we have S is equal to don't know, that's what we want, U is equal to 5, B is equal to 20, A is equal to don't know, and T is equal to 30. Now the cool thing about SUVAT is that as long as you have 3 variables, you can work out the other 2, guaranteed. So we can get straight to S from here. Now of course, because we have 3 variables, we could also work out A and then work out S if we want to. So it really is up to you. So if you get stuck on how to get from these 3 variables straight to S, think about, well, how do I work out A instead then? And then use a different equation. That's the beauty of it. As long as you have 3 variables, you're golden. Now, of course, the equation that has S, U, V, and T in it is actually S equals U plus V over 2T. So if we sub that in, we have 5 plus 20 over 2 multiplied by 30, and we can get that out now. So let's pull out our calculator. So that's going to be 25 over 2, which is 12.5 times 30. Probably didn't need a calculator for that, but whatever. 375 meters is how far it travels. Now, of course, that's not too bad. So what you'll find with a lot of SUVAT questions is the first part is quite quick. So we're going to get 3 marks just for that. Really, really, really fast. But the real meat of the question is generally the 6 or 7 marker that you have afterwards, or you have multiple other parts as well. But find in seconds, correct to 2dp, the length of time it takes for the lorry to cover the first half of this distance. And you know what? I find that this happens quite a lot where students get a bit stuck on this. Now, first of all, let's just write out what we know. Well, S is going to be half of 375. So if I just quickly divide that by 2 on the calculator, we get 187.5 meters. 187.5 meters. And actually I didn't use for the M, but whatever. U is still 5, because it's the first half of the distance. If it was the last half of the distance, we would know V is 20. Right? V we don't know. A we also don't know. And T is going to be, well, it says first half of the, well, we want the time, so we don't have that. So as you can see, we're kind of screwed because we have only 2 known variables. Now, there are a few different things you can do in order to work out exactly what's going on. And here's what I would do. If you remember, when we do SUVAT, we have constant acceleration. So I could work out acceleration from part A, and it would be the same as the acceleration in part B. Because remember, the acceleration has to be constant throughout the whole thing. So from A, if we use the part A equations, we can say that A is equal to B minus U over T. So that's 20 minus 5 over 30, which is going to be 15 over 30, which is a half, so 0.5. That's my new value for A. And now we have everything we need. S equals UT plus half AT squared. And that is where a lot of students lost marks because they didn't and this is a really core thing with A-level maths, if you really want to get that A star, if you really do want to get there, and also impress people in your interviews for your universities, you need to understand the maths. It's not good enough to be able to regurgitate information like you can in GCSE. You have to understand why you're doing it. And again, that's how you get to the A's and A stars. Okay, you need to understand. This question is not difficult if you understand that SUVAT is constant acceleration, which means the acceleration from part A will give you part B. Now, there are a few lucky people who happen to work out A in part A and then work out S. But most people jump straight to S and they didn't know A, jumped to the second part and got stuck. I only know 2 variables, it's impossible. It's not impossible, it can't be impossible. So, enough of me kind of smack talking you. That would be 5t plus a half at squared. Well, half of a is going to be 0.25 t squared. Shove everything over to the right hand side will probably be the easiest, and write it out as a quadratic equation. So like so. And now all we need to do is use our calculator. That's 6 marks. That's why I love mechanics. You get a lot of marks for realistically not that much work. But you have to use your brain, and that's the bit that a lot of people get struggle on. 2 polynomial degree is 2, so 0.25 in front of the squared term, there's a 5 in front of the linear term, and there is a negative 187.5 for the constant term at the end, and we get 2 values, of course we do. I probably haven't given myself enough space though. 34. And then we're also going to get negative 10 minus 5 root 34. Now, which one are we going to go for? We are going to go for the positive value. Because keep in mind, time cannot be negative. The reason why we get negative answers here is because it's a quadratic model. Okay? So because we're assuming that our values are going to follow a U shape or an N shape, there's going to be 2 values for every single point on there. Even if it doesn't make any sense. Because we tend to be looking at only the first half or the last half of the curve. So we're going to take the positive value, which is, it has to be this one. So that is a bit lazy of me though. So let's go back to the normal mode. Let's actually work out what it is. Does it say to any? So it says to 2 decimal places. So let's quickly sub that in and see what we get. So negative 10 plus square root of 34, 5 root 34 even. That is correct, and it should be negative 10. Come on. Here we are. Shocking. Thank you, calculator. 19. It says to 2 decimal places, so t is equal to 19.15 seconds to 2 decimal places. Again, I'd always recommend writing the exact value as well, just so the examiner can see. But that here is 6 marks. Not that bad in my opinion.